I think there's also probably two major approaches to take on this. The first is, as Richard mentioned earlier, selling the industry and the jobs and the companies that exist within the Ireland space, if you will, building that Silicon Republic type brand. That will sort of encourage individuals to think about Ireland as a great place to not just work, but to also have a fulfilling career. And then we got to think about how we sell Ireland, the location. And much of how we sell Ireland as a tourist destination applies to how we sell Ireland as a nice place to live, a generally pollution-free environment, a good place to raise a family, a strong education sector, etc. So I think we need to think about it in those two ways. And something like a gathering type initiative could be the wrapper that you use to make that very effective.
Yeah, and I think there's, on that sort of gathering type idea, we don't leverage the diaspora in the same way that other countries do. So there's a natural network of people out there who we've seen get engaged with the gathering and get engaged with things like Connect Ireland, etc. But we need to kind of acknowledge the issue, if you like. And sometimes I think we see a dichotomy between selling, bringing FDI in, and because of the great education, the great skills that we've got, and then acknowledging, well, actually, we haven't got enough. But I think if we could create that kind of brand, there's an interesting challenge about who goes out and does this, because I don't think you can look at the private sector alone. I think there needs to be collaboration between the private sector. I think the education sector is an interesting one, because you've got educators, you've got the likes of Trinity going around the world trying to attract key talent into their master's programs and research programs. That strikes me as an opportunity to maybe be a vehicle to hook up with private sector, both employers, recruiters, maybe some state intervention and support as well, that you could create a program where you're going out and selling that brand, come to Ireland as a destination of choice for talent, fantastic educational opportunities, great programs. We've got an educational competitive advantage for master's students coming from overseas, because if they do a master's in Ireland, they can get to stay for a year afterwards, whereas in the UK they have 30 days before they have to get out. So we've got some advantages. We can take that message out to Asia, the subcontinent, etc., and do a really good job, I think, at selling Ireland as a destination of choice.
Am I right? Is it 2 years in the UK?
No, it used to. The
UK,
they've
changed it.
They changed it. The UK, and this is where it becomes a bit political, because I think when Cameron came in, it's one of the first things he did with the pressures that they're under there, is that they did away with the right of a master's student to stay on and work.
I didn't realise
and if you're
that.
a master's graduate from overseas, a master's graduate in the UK, you have 30 days. And if in 30 days you haven't got a job, you've got to get out.
Okay, so even the 1 year is quite a competitive
Ireland
advantage.
has got a great competitive advantage, so we've got 1 year, that's great. Why not 2?
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually, notwithstanding some of the good work that has been done, certainly by the IDA and the gathering, I don't think that we sell Ireland well at all, certainly in this area. And certainly our indigenous sector needs to sell itself better, and obviously that falls in some ways on the lap of Enterprise Ireland. As a country, we probably don't sell well at all. It's not really in our psyche. And the first thing we really need to do is understand what we're selling. What do we want to market out there to the world? And I think we need to get that message right, and we haven't done that yet. So I think that's terribly important. What are we selling? What kind of jobs do we really have? Have we got clarity on that? I don't think we have enough transparency around what kind of jobs are available, for example, in the software sector. I see a lot of media announcements, 100 jobs in IT. That really doesn't give out the right message. What are these jobs? What kind of IT jobs are they? Are they IT support? Are they core software development? Are they sales and marketing and tech? I think we really need to clarify those messages when we're going out to the world.
And I know it's something we try to do at Silicon Republic, is try and dig in and find out what are the actual jobs. I do think it's important. It's very true. Brian, yourself, you had to, I know when we were down at Careers there last week, we were meeting Venezuelans and Bolivians and Brazilians. Did you have a lot of people from overseas, and were they people who were based here in Ireland already? Or?
Yeah, a mix. I mean, 45% of people through the door now are non-national, which is remarkable, and we've seen that steadily clock up over the years with each event. last event in September, it was 40%, now it's gone up to 45%, so it's continually growing. We have people who fly in specifically for the event, a couple of hundred for each event, you know what I mean, because it's a fantastic way for them to meet a whole load of employers, get a lot done in the day, you know. But just on the marketing of Ireland, what we do have obviously are thousands of foreign nationals who are working in multinationals and indigenous companies. I think these guys can be ambassadors, you know, back to their networks back home, and I don't think that's been thought about or leveraged in a big way yet. I think that could be something that could be done quite quickly, and I think that could be really, really effective. I think actually what would help send out that welcoming message is something that we hear a lot about is when tech professionals are considering moving here and they have a look on Daft and see what, you know, about rental accommodation, they find it very expensive, hard to come by, and we all know the pressures out there in that market. We've got a lot of disused buildings at the moment. I don't know, maybe Dublin City Council and NAMA could have a talk about that. And maybe, you know, we could create a short-term apartment hub, you know, tech kind of area.
A little bit like the way we did the incubators for the companies.
Exactly, yeah. Exactly.
I like it.
And you know, that would be a very, you know, send out a great international message that we're open to this talent, that we're facilitating. You know, it obviously it'd have to be short term, I suppose, to some degree, 6 months or something like that. But that this was here, and they know that people, you know, from their countries are going to be there as well, so it's less scary move for them, and they'll have that support. I don't know.